Hi, I'm Jay Rasmussen, Director of the MA in Education program. I'd like to officially welcome you to the program and to this introductory video. In this particular video, you're going to have a chance to hear more about each of your core courses. There's 23 credits in the core program. And then you'll also be learning a bit about the instructors that you'll have for each of the courses. You'll learn about them as professionals, and you'll learn about their personal lives a bit as well. So, again, welcome to the program, and I hope you enjoy this first video.
Hi, my name is Randy Moberg. I'll be your first course instructor to your Master's in Arts Education program. The course is called Teacher as Leader, EDU 606. You're really going to enjoy the work that we share together. It's about leadership, something that will be a theme that will resonate throughout the entire program. Let me tell you a little bit about myself first. I've been a principal for 15 years and also 15 years in the classroom. And it's been primarily K through 5, which is the background that I'm coming forward with. In terms of the rest of my background, you've heard my educational direction. I also wrote a book called TNT Teaching, 200 Dynamite Ways to Make Your Classroom Come Alive. So kind of some creative resources and ideas to aid the learning and teaching process. In terms of my family background, I've been married for over 30 years. I have 3 wonderful boys, all of which attended Bethel. It's a great, great institution, and you will not be disappointed if this is your first try at Bethel University. Just a quick little rundown of our course. It is entitled Teacher as Leader, and that is really the entire theme of the whole course that we're working with here. I'm going to hit just a couple of highlights that kind of pull things together. We'll be starting out by looking at Stephen Covey's work, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and then reading Ayer's book, The Journey of a Teacher, and looking at teaching role as a calling, working on getting to know your students, building those relationships, looking at students and teachers in terms of their strengths through a Strength Finder survey and also the multiple intelligences. We'll also be looking through a lens of equity as we look at meeting the needs of all learners from remediation all the way through to enrichment. In the beginning, I made note of the whole idea about leadership, and one of our big projects that we'll be working on will be you'll hone in individually, each and every one of you, on an area that you find of interest and that you'd like to gain a little bit better understanding and expertise in, and you'll be able to work that project through to completion and then share it back with the group as a whole. It is really an interesting course. I've taught the course for 4 years now, and the feedback is good. And it's really because of the wealth and the breadth and depth of the knowledge that's shared from those that participate in the program. So I am personally just thrilled to have you a part of this program, and looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better, as I know you are too, and getting to know the rest of your cohort members as well. So once again, welcome to Bethel University, and looking forward to our time together. Thank you.
Welcome to the MA in Education program. I'm Gretchen Roble, and I'll be teaching educational research. A bit about me is I started Bethel in the fall of 1988, so I've been here a good long while. I teach in the psychology department. My degree is in educational psychology, so I have always been in the world of education and psychology together. As an undergraduate, I was a social studies education major and psychology. I taught in the public schools for a while, and I was a school psychologist in the public schools. And my research interests now, I spend a lot of time focusing on complex families, especially those who are adoptive families, and taking a look at how relationships are maintained between birth and adoptive families across time in the adoption kinship network. I'm especially interested in how curiosity about adoption and one's own adoption helps facilitate or influences those relationships in the kinship network. In our class, we're going to talk a lot about research, which is something that's near and dear to my heart. We're going to start even talking about some philosophical things about what is the role of primary research in the everyday life of a teacher in the classroom, and then we're going to take a look at some of the nuts and bolts as well for you to help you understand how to access good research for your master's project. And we're even going to do a little bit of beginning thought about what you might want to do and write about for that project. Overall, it's a 2-week course, and I'm looking forward to working with you and have a great time in the class.
Welcome to the Masters in Education program. I am Louise Wilson, one of your faculty members that you'll hear more from me in a couple courses. I'm excited to be part of this group. I know that you are living all over the U.S. And the world, and frankly, that makes this program, this cohort, very exciting and fun to be part of, and I think you will agree with that after you've been through a couple of courses and gotten to know each other well. A little bit about myself. I am the chair of the education department here at Bethel, and I've been here for about 12 years, first as a faculty member and now as chair for the last 4 years or so. My background before that, my first career was as a teacher of deaf and hard of hearing high school students in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And I was a teacher in that program and then ran the program for several years. I did that for probably 12 to 15 years in the Chicago area. And I then moved to Minnesota with my family and worked in some educational consulting for a company called Designs for Learning. We did some work with startup schools, with some new charter schools, with the model that the head of the Designs for Learning organization had started. And we did some work with schools on technology integration as well as leadership and leadership consulting. I also did some teaching at Hamlin before I came to Bethel, and now I'm here. I also, in my personal life, I'm married and have 2 sons who are in their 30s, and one's married, one's about to get married, so that's my personal life. I serve on some academic and educational boards as part of my professional, extra professional life as well. I'm on a board of trustees for a college in Chicago and also for a private Christian school here in the Twin Cities. I'm going to I also served on the Minnesota Board of Teaching for 4 years, which is our licensing board in Minnesota. My educational background is I have a bachelor's in English from North Park University in Chicago and a master's in teaching deaf and hard of hearing from Northwestern University in Chicago, and then my PhD from the University of Minnesota in educational psychology. So, a little bit about the course. My course is called Improving Instruction. I love this course because I get to teach all the things I love to learn about and love to teach about. So you get to be part of what I love, and hopefully we'll communicate some of that to you. The course is kind of divided into 3 parts, I would say. The first part of the course is some foundational work and reading on how people learn. So we take some time to look at how the brain works and brain-based learning, as well as cognitive development in persons, in children, young people, and adults. We look at multiple intelligences as well as other intelligence type theory, and then how that all translates into the way people learn and how students learn in schools. Then we take about a couple sessions to look at schools that are implementing some of these models in unique ways in some cases, and in more traditional ways in some cases, but we look at literally websites and videos of schools from all over the U.S., schools that I visited a few years ago on a sabbatical, and look at some innovative approaches to doing school. And you will do a web quest and a little research on some of those schools as well. Then the third part of the course really is taking all of this and talking about leadership and school change. And not necessarily leadership in an administrative capacity, although some of you may be there already or will be at some point in your careers, but really about educational leadership as a practitioner, as a teacher, and how you can influence school change within your life, in your classroom, in your building, in your district, or wherever you are teaching. So we'll look at some models of leadership and talk about how that can impact the way that you teach. And then I will have you finally write a paper on a concept of school change that you come up with. It can be a creative one that you want to implement actually in your school, or you can think outside the box about if you could design the ideal school or classroom, what would that look like? And you'll be using a lot of the material from the course. You can research some other things as well and support it with documentation. So that is the course and a little bit about me, and as we get to know each other during my course, you could obviously ask me additional questions. We'll be dialoguing a lot every week and getting to know each other as we go through the course. So welcome again, and I look forward to having some time with you all.
Hi, Jay Rasmussen. I'll be teaching Psych 635, Measurement and Assessment in Education. In this particular course, we'll be taking a balanced view of instruction. We'll be looking at performance assessment, and we'll be looking at traditional assessment in a K-12 setting. It's a very practical course and a theoretical course at the same time. The course is a challenging one, so be prepared to study and to invest in the course, and then I think you'll get something significant out of it. In terms of my background, not only am I the program director, but I teach in the program. I also teach at an undergraduate level too. Literacy is one of my primary areas of instruction, and I teach in a separate grad program at Bethel in literacy as well. At Bethel, I do serve as the faculty development coordinator for the undergraduate program as well. In my prior life, I was primarily a 4th grade and 5th grade teacher, an elementary school principal as well. And on a personal level, I'm married. My wife, Roberta, is a K-6 Spanish teacher. I have 2 children. My oldest one is named Nina, and she recently graduated from Bethel. She's a social work major, and she's now employed working with Latino women that are battered. My son is 18 right now, just graduating from high school, has a strong interest in ministry in particular, and he and I are actually planning a motorcycle trip, not this summer, but the following summer, where we're going to be going from Minnesota to Argentina. So on a personal level, I really enjoy a lot of outdoor activities, adventurous type things, as you can figure out from the motorcycling trip that we're planning. So, looking forward to working with you on the course and getting to know you better, and I think we're going to have a great journey together.
Hi, I'm Lisa Simser, and I'll be teaching EDU C730, which is the Introduction to Differentiation and Responsive Teaching. And of course I'm biased, but I think it's a fabulous class. We're going to work really well together in figuring out what you need to know about improving differentiation and responding to your students. My job will be to model as best I can how to do those things so you experience what it feels like to be a student in that kind of classroom. We'll come up with some projects that match with what you really need to serve your students better. And we'll have a great time over those 6 weeks. Then after 2 more courses, I will get to see you again. We'll be working on a class called Preparing for the Thesis and Action Research. And when I introduce that class for you, you'll hear a little bit more about me and my personal life as well.
Hello, my name is Mary Fonken Holden, and I will be the instructor for the Culturally Responsive Instruction class, EDU 732. I'm looking forward to meeting each one of you and having some pretty interesting forum discussions. A little bit about the class. If you are a teacher here in the United States, you know that you are seeing a diversity within your classrooms unlike ever precedented in the U.S. If you're from other countries, you're still seeing diversity from wherever you're at. This class is a journey. We are not going to start together in the same place, and we're not going to end up on the journey in the same spot. Each one of us is coming from our own backgrounds and our own experiences. You need to keep that in mind, so don't feel threatened by cultural competency or what you feel might be incompetency on your part. We're all starting where we're at, and we're all on a journey, and no judgments are made in between there. A little bit about myself. I was a public school teacher in Minnesota's largest school district in Okehennepin for 20 years, and school administrator, assistant principal for 18 years, and then the director of student services for the last 2 years, and then I retired last year. In that 40 years, I had a lot of experience with different students, different teachers, diversity of backgrounds, diversity of cultures, of income, and I learned a lot. But a lot of where I'm coming from comes from my personal likes and dislikes. I have 3 adopted Korean children, and one of the things that I got to do when I was adopting these children is see what life was like in Korea for orphans. And I decided that things could be a lot better if we did some fundraising in the state of Minnesota. So for 15 years, I made 27 trips to Korea, escorting children to this country and bringing all kinds of Korean products to sell and raise funds for the Korean orphanages. That was really my first experience with cultural differences. When I landed in Seoul for the first time at the Gimpo Airport, I got off thinking, how in the world are people going to know who I am and who am I supposed to go with? never realizing that I was the only 5'10" white American woman getting off in this airport in a sea of Asian black hair, slanted eyes, short people, that I was the one that was different, that I was actually the minority. Since then, I've traveled around the world. I've taught in China in 3 different places at 3 different times and learned a lot about the Chinese education system, the Chinese system of government and business, and watching out for who we are and where we're going and what we're saying. The class is going to be about culturally responsive teaching, how to have a classroom that's culturally responsive. It will give you instructional strategies for dealing with differences. Once again, the most important part of this class, in my opinion, is your forums and your discussions with one another. That's where we're going to learn. We're going to learn from books that you read and what people have to say, but the main thing is what you're going to learn from one another and your experiences. So I look forward to having you in the class and seeing you over Skype or through the forums that we have each day.
Hello, my name is Ruslana Westerland, and I will be your instructor for this course, Responsive Pedagogy for English Learners. I'm very excited to work with you. It's a very exciting journey, an engaging journey to really learn how to work with students who speak other languages. My professional background includes working currently at the Minnesota Department of Education as an English learner education specialist, and I support school districts to provide quality educational experiences for English learners. I also work with other universities such as Hamline or St. Thomas, and have had the privilege of working with Jay Rasmussen and his program here at Bethel to really equip all teachers to work with all students. We will have specific strategies that you will practice and learn in this course. We will also focus on just some pedagogical and culturally responsive philosophy of working with different cultures in your classroom, and specifically linguistic differentiation and being linguistically responsive to the students who are learning English as another language. I am married, have 2 children, and my kids are Julian and Nicholas, 11 and 7. Keep me young and energized, and they go to local school here, involved in sports, have traveled with me to Ukraine. And my husband and I have also been to Ukraine and Mexico and just really live cross-cultural lives and in many different ways. So I am very thrilled that we will be developing a community of learners that focus on education of English learners. I will close with a quote that will be our guiding light and the northern star for this class. And it was kind of surprising to see how many Bible verses the Bible included that were specifically related to language and language learning. My favorite one is in 1 Corinthians 14:10-11, and I will read it to you. Undoubtedly, there are all sorts of languages in the world, yet none of them is without meaning. If then I do not grasp the meaning of what someone is saying, I am a foreigner to the speaker, and the speaker is a foreigner to me. And so I admonish that we all become empowered educators who have strategies to really connect with our language learners, that they are not foreigners to the curriculum, but engaged students in the curriculum via instructional strategies that will really equip you to reach out and connect and help English learners achieve successfully in the classrooms. So I'm thrilled to meet all of you, and we'll have a great class together.
Hi, welcome to Bethel. Glad that you're joining us for the Masters in Ed program. It's a fantastic program. My name is Lisa Simzer, and I will see you in roughly a year or so, ways down the road, when you're taking a course on writing the master's thesis and action research project, if you go that route. It's a great course that will really help you if you're at all nervous about that part of this process. It will help you develop a question and a prospectus and line you up with an advisor. Will hand-hold you through that process, so it'll be great when I see you at that point. I have been a part of the Bethel community for quite a while now, and I teach in our many different graduate programs and have a background in special ed and in regular ed teaching, have been an English teacher, and now most recently I'm teaching online in an online school. So would love to talk to you about any of those topics. Little bit about me personally. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. By the time you see me, Laura and Megan are crazy, awesome children. And my husband Andrew is a teacher too, and so we're just surrounded by education talk all the time. So have a great time on this journey. Welcome to Bethel. I look forward to meeting you.